Now available in paperback and coming to Kindle Unlimited. John Haynes, Dark Succubus. The man who rules the world is tempted by a sultry succubus in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Dark Succubus in paperback or pre-order on Kindle Unlimited today. One of my viewers sent me a link to a New York Times article where several black directors of the 1990s spoke out talking about how Hollywood set them up to fail. And these directors, Julie Dash, Matty Rich, Darnell Martin, Ernest Dickerson, Leslie Harris, and Theodore Witcher, talk about the 1990s black film boom that went bust and how Hollywood set them up to fail. Now, as someone who has studied the entertainment industry for over 30 years, I can tell you why these black directors were set up to fail and what mistakes they made believing. Now, the first big mistake that these black directors made was believing that they had a fair shake in Hollywood. And Hollywood oftentimes presents you with the idea that there is no black or white, and that the only color that matters at the end of the day is green. And that is the biggest lie anybody could be told, because when it comes down to Hollywood, Hollywood is the media arm of white supremacy. And as the media arm of white supremacy, its job is to create propaganda that presents white men and white women as the ideal and the model for what people are supposed to be like, and the model for how everybody is supposed to live. And the idea of black filmmakers presenting positive and balanced and humanized images of black people runs counter to what Hollywood was originally designed to do. Because Hollywood was designed to, again, promote and create propaganda that presents you with the ideal that white people are perfect, white people are superior, white people are better, and white people are the model for what you want to be like and how you should live. So if you see a white person in a media image, you see it and believe that it is an ideal, because this is what Hollywood wants to promote and this is what they want to sell people. So the idea of a black filmmaker creating black films that present you with balanced and humanized and positive images of black people, that runs diametrically opposed to what Hollywood was originally about. And these filmmakers, they bought into this idea because they believed that because their films got some critical acclaim from many of these white institutions, that they were getting an opportunity to be a part of Hollywood. But what they didn't understand, that I understood from reading Sid Field's screenplay, was that many of these awards are a popularity contest, and oftentimes these popularity contests are fixed, and a lot of times they will go out and give a black filmmaker a lot of this critical acclaim, and they'll give them this critical acclaim to gas their heads up, get their egos all inflated, and then try to get them to buy into these integrationalist ideas and these integrationalist ideals, believing that the only color that matters is green, when in actuality that what they want to do is manipulate these black filmmakers into buying into the Hollywood system and then actually believing they have a shot, when in actuality they have no shot whatsoever and they are being set up to fail. And this is the big mistake that a lot of black filmmakers make in believing that they have this shot, because a lot of times these filmmakers are so enamored by the validation and approval that white people are giving them that they can't see that the game is chess, not checkers. And part of a chess game is being 7 steps ahead of the individual you're playing against. And oftentimes these Hollywood executives and moguls get 7 steps ahead of these rookie filmmakers by giving them these awards, giving them these accolades, and then going out here and stroking their egos. And then once they stroke their egos on the independent films that they produced, what happens is these filmmakers then wind up falling into a lot of traps where they get checkmated. So they use the acclaim to gas up the heads of many black filmmakers, and they'll give you your budgets, they'll give you this awards, they'll give you all of this stuff, and they will do this on their film, on your film, and then they'll get you to buy into the system. And then once you've bought into the system of white supremacy, you will start talking about the rainbow, how there is no racism. And then when you are inside the system, that's when they set you up to fail. And this is where your black filmmakers back in the 90s didn't really see the big picture as related to the whole Hollywood game. Because the whole Hollywood game is about getting you to buy in, and then once you have bought in, then they can go out here and then do whatever they please to you because you have bought in. And once you have bought in, you then are a part of their system, and then you have to do things on their terms. And that's what happened to all of these black filmmakers in the 90s, because before they bought into this system, a lot of these filmmakers were making their films on their own. And what they didn't understand was that the golden age of black cinema was not started by Hollywood. It was actually started by black independent filmmakers. If you take a critical examination of Spike Lee, the She's Gotta Have It, he financed that with credit cards. If you take a look at Robert Townsend's Hollywood Shuffle, he financed that with credit cards. And if you look at other independent films, like Your House Parties and many others, they were financed on very tiny budgets, and they were not seen as anything major to the film studios. So a lot of these films, they were not considered to be major films, but they became blockbusters because the messages in those films resonated with black audiences, and they weren't expecting those messages to resonate, because when it comes down to Hollywood and black film, when they looked at guys like Spike Lee, Mario Van Peebles, the Hudlin brothers, they were not expecting them to be successes. However, they did become successes, and then when they saw the black film market growing, what Hollywood wanted to do was capitalize on it for some short-term dollars, but they wanted to shut it down in the long term. So what they did when they saw guys like Matty Rich coming up and many other black filmmakers coming up was, yes, they let them go out here and make their films, but in the long term, they were making plans to go out here and sabotage black cinema, because again, black cinema was presenting the world with images that refuted a lot of the narratives white supremacy had about black people. Because when it comes down to the media arm of white supremacy, the media arm of white supremacy is, again, all about perpetuating the idea that white people are the ideal to aspire to be like, and that black people are supposed to be at the bottom of the world. And in order for them to have their smooth world of white supremacy, the black man and the black woman and the black children need to be at the bottom of that world. And that's why they wanted to go out of their way to sabotage black cinema, and they wanted to change the narrative of black cinema. And the mainstream media went about that by not only trying to sabotage these filmmakers, but they wanted to change the narrative from that of a diverse black community, which is what we got from visionaries like Spike Lee, Robert Townsend, the Hudlin brothers, Matty Rich, and even these filmmakers here, Julie Dash, Matty Rich, Darnell Martin, Ernest Dickerson, and Theodore Witcher. What they wanted to do was change the narrative so that we wouldn't see the diversity of the black experience, and they wanted to get us back on the narrative that many in Hollywood felt more comfortable with, and that was the hood. And then the thing that they did was they took the John Singleton movie, Boys in the Hood, and they used that to try to shift the narrative from the diversity that we were getting into this hood movie. And the hood movie was a repackaging of the blaxploitation narrative, with a lot of these filmmakers managing to try to sneak messages in. Because with John Singleton, he was trying to sneak in messages about black fathers in between the lines of Boys in the Hood, but your mainstream white supremacist media wanted to change the narrative, because if we got that diversity of ideas about the black image, it was going to humanize black people. And that's one of the things that started when Bill Cosby started The Cosby Show. It ushered in that golden age of cinema, that then Spike Lee and Robert Townsend came after him, and that changed the image of overall of black people. And what the mainstream media wanted to do was get people back to the stereotypes with these hood movies, and then further reinforce it with the O.J. Simpson trial. Because what they wanted to do with the O.J. Simpson trial was go out here and demonize the image of the black man and present him as a black brute, and then use that further again to reinforce things as related to the black image. But these black filmmakers really did not understand what Hollywood was all about. They thought that Hollywood was all about accepting black people, and it was all about promoting any image of anyone because it would make money. But that was never the case at all when it came down to Hollywood. Hollywood has always been about elevating the image of white people above all others and making white people appear to be better than everybody else. So a lot of these filmmakers, they came into Hollywood believing that they were going to give them an equal opportunity because they gave them awards and accolades. But when they went to make that second film or that third film, that's when they ran into all of the racism and misogyny that goes on in Hollywood. Because I was reading about Darnell Martin, who made I Like It Like That, which is a classic film, and she ran into all of this, and she said she was blacklisted. But that's par for the course with Hollywood, because they don't want you to see those stories about positive images of black women, like we had in I Like It Like That, or Just Another Girl on the IRT, or Daughters of the Dust. And they don't want you to see images of people like Theodore Witcher's Love Jones, which were presenting black on black love. All of those films do not reflect the narrative of white supremacy, so they will go out of their way to sabotage those films, because they don't want black audiences going out here to those movies, because that represents competition to their romantic comedies and their movies with white women. And they don't want you to see those images of black on black love, and they don't want you to see those images of beautiful black women, because they want black women to keep buying the products that are elevating white women and seeing the white woman as the ideal, just like they want black men to be looking at guys like Stallone and Schwarzenegger instead of going out here to watch stories like Ernest Dickerson's Juice. Because if you're looking, at a black man and seeing him in a adventure movie or an action movie on the same level as a white man, then the media arm of white supremacy is not doing its job. So what they will do is passively give black filmmakers opportunities and then aggressively find ways to sabotage them, and then say that there are no black audiences for these films, or say that these films are of poor quality, when oftentimes it's not the film that's of poor quality, because sometimes the screenplay will be very good, sometimes the directing will be very good, but then these Hollywood executives will meddle into the film, tell you that you have to cut things out, and then as they're telling you to cut things out, they wind up releasing a poor quality film, and they release this poor quality film because they do not want the black film being a success, because if the black film is a success and black people and people are looking at black people and seeing black people on an equal level or even higher level than white people, then again, the media arm of white supremacy is not doing its job. So they will willfully and intentionally go out of their way to sabotage black filmmakers, and they will do things to prevent black filmmakers from being able to do things like get their projects financed or get their projects supported. And I went in depth on this in my screenplay, All About Marilyn. In the first 10 or 15 pages, I talk about how the Marilyn Marie character who was on this show, All About Nikki, and she's getting ready to do a movie deal, and she goes to talk to a black screenwriter who's her PA on her show, and they tell her that, and the executives tell her that the script is too urban, and that was terminology for this script is too black. And what they wanted the Marilyn character to do was star in their movie, and then they would take the guy's screenplay and they changed it over to a white female character, had a white actress play the part, and they would butcher the script because they don't want you to see a black image, or from what I've seen, they will go out here and buy a black script from a black screenwriter like myself, then hire another white screenwriter to rewrite it, then cast a white woman in the part. And this is all what the media arm of white supremacy does, because they don't want you to see black images on their media platform. And sadly, these black filmmakers, they didn't really understand the game as related to Hollywood. And if you don't understand the game as related to Hollywood, what you're going to do is buy into their system, and they'll do what they did to Matty Rich, where they put him in director's jail, and they'll say, oh, this movie didn't make any money, so you're not going to get another movie financed, and you're not going to get another movie greenlit. And they'll do this because they don't want to see you succeed, because, again, you are creating images that are competing with their mainstream media platform, and their mainstream media platform is about elevating white people first, white people above black people, saying white people are better than black people, and white people are the ideal for what the world should be. So you have to understand what the whole Hollywood system is all about, and what they are is they will let you in so that they can kick you out. Again, that's all about the chess game they are playing with black filmmakers. Is yes, they will let you in, but they will set you up to fail so that they can kick you out, and then they can go out here and make the statement, oh, black films don't sell, black films don't make money, black filmmakers don't make quality films, black filmmakers don't know how to set up a shot, and they don't know how to do anything. They'll say this, when in actuality, it's their executives who are out here meddling in things, going out here doing things to your films, telling you that you can't put certain scenes in your film, you can't use certain scripts, or you can't put in certain imagery, or because in order for you to get your film signed off after you've shot it, it's got to go through these executives, and these executives try to sabotage your films so that they won't be good. Yes, they'll talk about the first one you do at Sundance, but the second one, they will do things to mess it up. And then once you've had one or two bad films, then you don't have a career. So this is what Hollywood does to black filmmakers, and this is why black filmmakers cannot work inside of Hollywood. This is something I learned from studying Hollywood for over 30 years, and even during my time when I was submitting screenplay contests and query letters, I started to see the racism going on when I was submitting All About Marilyn. They were telling me that the script was good, but they didn't want to do it because it featured a black character, and moreover, it featured a story where the white woman was being presented as a villain. And because I was presenting a white woman as a villain, this is where I started to see all of the racism in Hollywood, and I started to see the defensiveness, because when I talked about how this Tabitha character had disfigured the Marilyn character and did this out of her own insecurity of Marilyn's black beauty, that's when these guys got defensive on a lot of these screenwriting contests, and they were literally trying to defend this white woman. So I started to really see the racism in Hollywood with that, and not only with what was going on here. And a lot of these black filmmakers, they just didn't understand the whole game as related to Hollywood. It's not about elevating our image or promoting our image. And if you want to go out here and elevate and promote the image of black people, you're going to have to go outside of Hollywood, and you're going to have to go outside of the Hollywood system, because the Hollywood system is not about promoting black people. And yes, they will set you up to fail, because if your success as a black filmmaker elevating and perpetuating the black image, it runs counter to what white supremacy made Hollywood to be. And white supremacy, again, made Hollywood to be out here to elevate white people. And you can even look at movies like the whole new Star Wars to see that with what they did with Finn, how they were setting up to go out here and make a story with a black Jedi, but instead gave us a bumbling, stumbling idiot. And every time they come out here with an image of a black man, it's either a gay guy, a bumbling, stumbling idiot, or they go out here and they make the black man a neutered, emasculated male. And again, that is so that you can see the black man as less than and elevate the white man to a higher position that you can feel confident about. So there's mental manipulation going on with Hollywood, and black filmmakers have to understand that when you go into Hollywood, Hollywood is going to set you up to fail. And if you do not know how to play chess in Hollywood, you will be checkmated by these Hollywood studios, and they will set you up to have a career that will wind up going nowhere. If you'd like to try All About Marilyn and learn about the struggles of black actresses in Hollywood and the racism going on in Hollywood, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. There you can pick up All About Marilyn and the companion book All About Nikki the Fabulous First Season. And if you want to try some of my other SJS Direct publications like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, the Spinsterella trilogy, and my men's issues books, you may also do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, and my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, ISIS, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.